Yolo podcast. You only live once.
Hello there and welcome to Yolo podcast, the international seasons. This is the first episode of this second season, and I hope you are smashing through your goals for 2024 so far. And this is it. We are here and we are back. My name is Thanh and I'm your host today. And each week we'll take you behind the scenes of what's going on here at UAF. Talk about some new topics from new UAFOs from different countries. And this week I'm joined by Mr. Marlon Fernandez, who is part of our team of teachers as Public Relations and Communications faculty. Actually, Mr. Marlon has been on the show before, but behind the scenes. So this time he's taking the chance to be here with you guys. Welcome, my friend.
Thank you so much, Ms. Tang, for welcoming me to this show and to our audience. Thank you so much for having me. I'm very excited. I'm very happy to be here.
Okay, no need to be polite. In YOLO, you are our guest. And what a guest! Coming from so far to Vietnam and especially to UAF. So tell us, Colombia is in South America. Why did you come from such a distant place to our country?
Well, Einstein, actually, it is kind of a long story, and I will try to make it short for you and for our audience. Basically, we have to come back to 2015-16, when those time I was already having some experience teaching filmmaking and photography. But the thing is, at that time, I got a job in India. I was working that was my first time in the continent of India, in the continent of Asia. And as India is called a continent because it's a very big country. I got the opportunity to work there. And after being in Asian territory, I was like, I need to stay here. This part of the world, I really like it. I'm very interested. So after India came Japan, after Japan came China, moving around until I found this place, and I think I found the place for me. I think this is a place I want to stay longer, and I want to create my career.
I'm happy to hear so. But how about the transition for adaptation? Because I think it's natural that the cultural impact was there.
Yeah, it was there. As I explained you before, it is a transition that happened to any foreigner that lives as an expat in another country. And there are many cultural, barriers, walls, we can say, that I didn't get them only here. As I told you before, I've been teaching in other Asian countries before, and I always encounter different cultures and different traditions that make you feel a little bit aware and afar from your own origins. However, nothing like new friends and new culture will make you feel comfortable, and make you welcome to the country. And Vietnam is doing that very well, and also UAF. To be honest, like everybody's welcomed me like a family, like friends, and I cannot be more happy than this. I mean, I'm very well here, and I hope to be here longer.
And about your role here at UAF at the moment, what is your main responsibility at our university?
Well, I am the main teacher of the PRC faculty in the subjects of audiovisual arts. We can call it all this technology part that touch cameras, that touch those technology devices, call it gimbals, call it softwares, call it drones, flight cams, any kind of technology device that I can teach to the students, the behind the scene part. I am the expert to teach that part. However, I also have other responsibilities in the language part. I'm teaching Spanish and English as well in UEF, and I'm really excited to try to contribute in other things here.
Yes, and just by curiosity, do you feel a new culture can influence the way a teacher teach?
Of course. Every time that you teach in a different country, it's like you are just coming out of the university again, like every culture will tell you, no, you have to teach like this, not like that. So like every culture have their own methodology. You apply your previous understanding and apply the new cultural things you learn of the new country. You try to mix them all and you create your own teaching style that it will help you to deliver that message to the student. So culture affects the way you teach, yes, sometimes positive way, few times in a negative way, but you get used, you adapt, and you get better.
And we are talking about the student and teacher relationship, since there's always a language and cultural barrier. So how can a foreign teacher break the ice in the classroom?
Multimedia, miss. Multimedia. Everything that is photo, audio, body language, examples are everything when a student and teacher have a language barrier. Show some videos, show some photos, some information that not only the voice can communicate, but you have other things. It's your responsibility as a teacher. How do you want to reach them? And how deep they are going to understand your knowledge. So it's in base how you use the multimedia and your voice to reach them. Yeah.
Okay. Because being from a very different culture, so may I ask that what are some things that you find more interesting about the Vietnamese culture and especially about the UAF?
Well, there are many interesting things to tell about Vietnam and about UEF that one video is not enough. However, let me tell you, the only one thing that I really love about Vietnam and one thing that I really love about UEF. You ready? Yeah. Vietnam, food. The food is amazing. It is good, it's amazing, it has a good price. We consider that. Now, we go to UEF, and I can say people. I'm going to say about people, I don't talk about people. I say friends, I say family. It is a place that I feel like they welcome you so warm. You cannot stop realizing that, hey, I am in the correct place, I am here. So if you tell me something good about Vietnam, the amazing food, how you have the people I surrounded here that are helping me to feel another with you, with the culture, like welcome me here. I really appreciate that, and I'm so sure other foreigners, teachers of UEF also feel like that and feel that warm.
Great. And when that is about Vietnam, so how about Colombia? For our listeners who might not be familiar, could you tell us a little bit about Colombian culture? What are some things that people might find surprising?
Surprising with more than Vietnamese were interested about Colombia, it's about Vietnamese will be interested about the world, because living and working in some countries, especially in Asia, I realized that there are always small things that are attached to Western culture. You know? There are some foods in Colombia similar to Vietnamese. They may have a different name or a small ingredient different, but the concept itself, there are some dishes that they are similar, Colombian to Vietnamese. Also, some old traditional games before technology and all that, when we used to go outside and play. There are some of those traditional street games of kids that in Colombia we also used to play, So I'm wondering how big or how small is this world that two countries that are very, very far from each other, they share some cultural thing. It is very interesting. I would like to go more deep into this. I'm actually very interested in this cultural topic, but that will be another topic, another show to tell. There's a lot of information I have about it, but yeah, the cultural is very interesting in Colombia and Vietnam because of the connection they have.
The connection, right? That sounds like a vibrant place like Vietnam, right? And what are some the Colombia tradition and custom you miss the most?
Miss the most? Well, do you know that the biggest carnival in the world is in Brazil, right? It's in Rio de Janeiro. Everybody talks about the biggest carnival in the world, but nobody talks about the second biggest carnival in the world. That is actually in my city. It's actually in my city. The Rio de Janeiro carnival is too costly. Not so many people can afford that. So they go to Colombia, that is the second biggest carnival. And it is usually big and colorful, and it is amazing. It's a place, Barranquilla, Colombia, my city, that I recommend you to, if you don't have time or money to go, Google it, search the carnival, search the colors, and wow, it is amazing. Thing that I miss is that culture, that color culture, and the carnival of Colombia.
That's so great. And just to finish, I understand that Spanish is the official language in Colombia. So will you tell something in Spanish to our audiences?
Okay, some Spanish. What would you like? Something like farewell or... Okay. Spanish. Okay. Personas, estudiantes de UEF, bienvenidos a este podcast. Les recomiendo que nos vean en YouTube y en todas nuestras redes sociales. Muchas gracias.
Can you repeat that in English for us to understand too?
I'm just saying a message to the students of UEF, that everybody, students and people are welcome here to UEF, to our social media, and please watch this podcast and our first interview in YouTube.
Thank you so much.
Thanks to you, Miss, for having me here.
Yes, Mr. Marlon, this has been a fantastic conversation. And thank you for sharing your experience with us. And for listeners, if you are interested in learning more about Yolo podcast, you can check our social media. And next week, we'll be back with another exciting interview in Yolo, the international season. And until then, stay curious and keep exploring. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Yolo Podcast. You only live once.